people are so judgy because they've never really worked on their own trauma. They've never addressed their own shadows. They have never really been and had the guts to dive into the deep parts of themselves that they need to address to be able to grow out of these traumatic cycles and these toxic bonds and these, I mean, everything is a circle, right? Until you learn to break that circle and grow above it. But you cannot do that until you become self-aware, until you can see yourself.
I am your host, Rachel V, and I'm here with a special guest. Her name is Elisabeth. She is an author, an entrepreneur, a wife, a mom. She is doing it. Elisabeth, welcome.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for having me. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. It's been a little difficult because you've been moving and shaking, honey.
Oh, yeah. I know you know how it is, but yes, the schedule is extremely busy. Things just pop up. And yeah, you just got to roll with the punches. So I'm glad that I was able to finally get over here.
I am too. First of all, let me just say, Elisabeth is absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Stunning. It's your energy.
Thank you.
Your energy, you can just like feel it. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
I would say the same thing for you because we're both Aquariuses. So, you know.
You know what we are?
Yeah, we both got the Aquarius.
February, right?
So, yes.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
So, Elisabeth, tell us about what you're working on, what you do, everything. Just spill it. We want to know everything.
Okay, so where do I even start? Well, I am the COO of Forbidden Knowledge, Inc., which is a worldwide brand. We are a TV streaming network. We are a book publishing company. We're e-commerce. We have a clothing brand, Esoteric, and Biohack Your Best Life clothing brand. I'm a podcast host of Biohack Your Best Life and Just a Gem podcast. I am a best-selling author of The Recipe to Elevated Consciousness and also wrote a book with Olivia Ramirez-Smith with Earthing called The Mother Earth Effect. And we are working on volume 2 right now, which should be out in the next few months, which is really exciting. And then what else? I mean, I do so much. I mean, I'm a new wife, and a mother to an 11-year-old son. And I also have bonus kids at this point too, which is amazing. So yeah, I mean, it's just dog mom, real mom, just business.
I'm glad that you told me that he's 11 because we have to get our kids together. My son is like full of energy and yeah, he needs like a little play mate.
Yes. How old is your son?
He's 12.
12. Okay, so they're good age right now.
They are.
Extremely
but, energetic. They get into stuff. This is the time where they need to bond with the right, people and, things like that. So tell us about Forbidden, what is
knowledge.
It? Yes, please. Forbidden Knowledge, please.
Yes. So basically the brand is about awareness, esoteric, metaphysics, quantum physics, spirituality, health and wellness, ancient civilizations. Before I was on board with Forbidden Knowledge, Billy Carson, he was doing it all himself, basically.
Okay.
And so when I came on board about 3 years ago, I saw that the brand could be so much bigger.
Right.
So one of my talents is I come in and I really help different businesses grow and achieve what they want to achieve in a short period of time.
Okay.
So I was able to see that Billy was doing a lot of it himself and he needed some help. So we were able to build Forbidden Knowledge even bigger and expand all the different legs of each part of the company. And so now it's just such a conglomerate of different type of information and wisdom that is very beneficial to your average person. I mean, it's not the whitewashed history. It's not the school history that you learn growing up where Thanksgiving should be celebrated. You know, it's real history. And it's based off of ancient tablets that Billy has spent years and decades studying. So that mixed with health and wellness and spirituality, I really feel if a person is not complete or whole until they really start being self-aware.
And that's what I want you to really dive deep into is awareness. Like, you got to talk to people like they don't know, you know what I mean? And I hear the word awareness being just tossed around and
consciousness,
and people really don't know what it is. So if you can just really touch deep into that for me, please.
Yes. So a lot of people are walking around abusing that word, conscious,
They
right?
are.
The conscious community. But yet these are the people that are attacking the most people, the most judgmental people out there. So in my eyes, consciousness means being self-aware, and it means being able to self-correct. So you become aware of your actions. You become aware of where the light does not shine, right? Your shadow work. And once you can shine light where you're scared to, on the scary deep parts of yourself, then that's when you really become self-aware and grow into your most optimized person, is when you really start diving into your own stuff. And that's why people are so judgy, because they've never really worked on their own trauma. They've never addressed their own shadows. They have never really been and had the guts to dive into the deep parts of themselves that they need to address to be able to grow out of these traumatic cycles and these toxic bonds and these, I mean, everything is a circle, right? Until you learn to break that circle and grow above it. But you cannot do that until you become self-aware, until you can see yourself. Yep. And so a lot of these people, I mean, they're walking around here because they've had an alien experience, or they believe in metaphysics, and they're really educated with real knowledge, right? But yet they're not self-aware.
Yeah.
They're going on people and they're hating on people. Oh, well, she can't be this because she looks like that. Oh,
absolutely.
Because her color skin is the way it is, she's not accepted into what
Right.
I do. I know it's all these judgments, and trying to, it's really become unbalanced, because the ego grows into a place where now it's not about, it's not about equality, right? It's I'm better than you because I know more, or I'm better than you because I'm in this group and my skin color looks like this, or I'm better than you because I dress a certain way. You know,
Right.
It's all of these judgments of this third dimensional world, which at the end of the day is not even real.
Right.
What are we internally? We're all energetic beings.
Right.
We're all spirit, right? So all of this skin suit does not matter at the end of the day. It's what is inside. You know?
Right. I'm glad you broke that down, because I'm like, people say awareness and consciousness, and am I saying it right?
Yeah, consciousness. Yeah,
I hear it so much, and it's like, but you're still judgy. You're still leaving hateful comments on people's Instagrams.
Yes.
You're still gossiping.
Yeah.
You're still doing unhealthy things, toxic things that are not contributing to mankind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you broke that down, because a lot of people think because they have these material things that they're good. That's not really what being happy and being aware and life is about.
It's not at all.
I want you to, what I'm most fascinated about when it comes to you per se, because, you know, I love everything about you. Beautiful, smart. I love a smart baddie. Oh my God. Love a smart baddie. But I'm most attracted to when you guys talk about meditation and really taking it to another level, and also the work behind it. Like, let's talk about the more spiritual things.
Yes. So when I became spiritually enlightened,
Right. And when was this?
that was probably at this point about 8 years ago.
Okay.
I just woke up to I woke up to the fact that my thoughts control my emotions. And
Right.
that was the big aha
That's
moment
me.
for me. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, so I don't have to feel like this anymore if I just change the way I think.
Right.
So I don't have to feel these negative emotions, right? Negative emotions, if I just change the way that I perceive something or the way that I think about something.
Right.
So at that point, I really became conscious and aware that we can really control the way our life is. The only thing that gets in the way, though, is the trauma that we've been through, right? Because when a person goes through trauma, they learn to judge certain things because of what they've been through in the past.
Yeah.
Which is what? A trigger, right? So we get triggered over something that what I may be triggered about is something that might not trigger you at all.
Right.
But every moment is a new moment, right? We come to these moments in a virgin way. So for us to start addressing the trauma, right, which comes meditation, comes body work, like things like somato emotional release work, cranial sacral,
I don't know any of these things, so you gotta really
lymphatic.
Yeah, you gotta let us know all of this stuff. This is new. These words are new. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, so
it's exciting.
Yes, I mean, a lot of people just think that shadow work is meditation, but it's so much deeper than that, right? Shadow work is all encompassing of mind, body, soul work. So it could be therapy, right? It could be I like therapy because you become self-aware of your own stuff. When you speak something out loud, your brain hears the words and you learn to perceive that thing in a different way because now you're hearing it in a way, right? It spoke out loud. Now your brain is like, oh, it's not just in here anymore. Now I can conceptualize what I'm saying more so. So that's why I like therapy, because it makes a person, it puts a mirror up to a person so they can become more self-aware.
Right.
But yes, it goes deeper than that, because I was in therapy my whole life, but I didn't start feeling better until I got the help that I needed from these different technologies, from these different biohacks, something like neurofeedback, right? Neurofeedback is basically like putting a mirror up to your brain so your brain can become self-aware of all of its issues. And it fixes itself in real time. This is one of the first modalities that I did when I was 19 years old. And it helped me become more conscious. I kind of call it like a brain dump. It's like taking all the negative thoughts out of your mind, putting it over there. And so you can actually be in control of what goes on in your mind. Neurofeedback really helps with that. Cranial, sacral, and somato emotional release.
What is this? Tell me what this is.
Yes, one of my favorite modalities ever. So cranial sacral is a really, really, really light touch. And they're basically feeling the electrical pumps of your cerebral spinal fluid. And they're manipulating the fluids in your body. So if your cerebral spinal fluid is stagnant somewhere, the cranial sacral practitioner can remove those energy blocks, remove those fluid blocks, and start making your fluids go in a very fluid way.
This sounds like Reiki a little bit. Is it kind of similar?
It's similar. Reiki really focuses on your spirit body. Cranial sacral is actually dealing with the physical ailments of the fluids in your body.
Got you. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you for breaking it down.
Yes. So it's such a cool modality. It's such a cool therapy to do, because literally the first time I went, I was like, this isn't real, because the lady just softly put her hands and cradled my head like this. And she did it for about an hour. And by the time I got up, I was like, oh my God, my spine is like.
I want to show you this woman on Instagram. I just started following her. I thought that she was like a chiropractor, but I saw her gently put her hand, just like you're describing.
Yeah.
And like the woman was immediately relaxed.
Oh yeah.
I was amazed. I was like, what is happening here?
Yes.
I didn't think it was real either, but I was like, no, she's too
in tune,
passionate about what she's doing.
When they so cranial sacral, a part of that is somato emotional release work. So when a person is doing cranial sacral on you, you could have an emotional release just by the area of what she's working on.
Right.
So this one time I felt her put her hand lightly on my chest right here. And I'm like, that's interesting, because when I'm angry, my chest radiates pain. It's like this pain point right here. And she put her hand right on there. All of a sudden I got a flood of emotion, of anger emotion. And I'm like, I'm feeling so furious. And so she's like, just let it out. So I was like, I screamed. But after I let that go, it's like I felt 10,000 pounds lighter. So that is a really amazing way to help energy blockages, emotional blockages, physical blockages that you can't reach consciously. So for instance, one time she was working on me, she put her hands right here on my pelvis, and she was like, I can feel that you're holding here. It's grief. I don't know what it is, but it's grief. And then right when she said that, boom, I went back into my mother's womb. I literally was inside of my mother's womb feeling all of her different emotions, because, stress hormones cross the placenta halfway through pregnancy. So as a baby, you're swimming around in your mother's stress hormones if she's stressed,
right?
Which is so, another really, really important point is we really need to worship these mothers, these women that are carrying babies. You're literally housing the next life that is going to come into this third dimension. And everything the way that you feel is being pushed on and programmed into that little baby. So it's so important for us as women to be consciously aware of the way that we feel when we're carrying a baby. And everybody around us, we should be treated like queens, especially during that moment in time, because we're literally programming that new person that's going to enter this dimension. So important. But anyways, back to cranial sacral. It is just a really great way for you to be able to release some of the stuff that you can't touch consciously. Because I didn't know I had that trauma.
I'm very interested in having this done.
Oh, yeah. No, it's amazing.
You're going to have to refer me to someone. Because
I got someone good out here,
I think it's like when you want to seek these kind of services and you want to like do better and like be better and feel better and think better, you don't want to necessarily just pick anybody, because everyone's out here like, oh, I do this, oh, I do that. And, Instagram is just like full of a bunch of, fraudulent things happening.
Yeah.
Happening. But for someone that's really interested, how would you go about seeking out someone that's really good at what they do?
Well, you know what?
Professional.
That's kind of hard to do. It's kind of like a hit or miss type thing.
Yeah.
And you have to go with somebody that you feel comfortable with. Because if you go to a practitioner, let's say they got 5 stars on Google, hundreds of ratings, and they're phenomenal on paper, but then you go to them and you feel weird, your body's not going to release anything. So it really depends. It's from person to person basis. So what I would suggest is look, I always dig and do research on the people that I'm going to, but it's really the way that I feel when I get there. Are they really serving my body? Do I feel comfortable with them enough that I am able to release these different emotions? It's really... I would just become really self-aware with your body and how you're feeling when you're with them, because that's really going to determine whether that person will work for you or not.
I love this.
They're just a vessel, you know.
So, Elisabeth, tell us a little bit about your story. Where you're from.
Yes. Okay.
I want to know everything, because I can tell you have a story.
Oh, yeah.
A good one, too.
Yeah. It's a lot of, lots of drama and trauma.
It's okay. So, listen, femmes, you know that we are here to help you grow in every single way. Yeah. All of us have been through trauma, and that's what makes all of us special. And you can have trauma, all of that, but just don't carry it into the rest of your life. That's how I feel about things. But go ahead, Elisabeth. Let's start.
Yes, well, it's dealing with the trauma, right? Releasing it. Because as you know, 0 to 7, we're programmed, and that's going to determine the rest of our lives, basically. 95% of our thought patterns are subconscious, right? So we're literally running on this program that we were programmed as being 0 to 7 years old. So for me, I mean, since I was adopted, right, I told you a little bit about how I went back to my mother's womb. Well, she was stressed out. She was not happy. She was depressed and stressed. And so I was adopted. So I actually did regression work coming out my mother's womb. And I never got to be held by my mom. I never saw her. They pulled me right away, put me into a little like bayonet type thing. And that's where I stayed for the next 3 months of my life, which caused me to have horrible abandonment issues.
Okay,
and
got you.
That's something that I had to find out through shadow work, because I didn't understand why my abandonment issues were so strong until I started doing this regression work, so I could consciously put a memory to all my unconscious feelings, right? The way that my body was feeling. So, I came to this country when I was 3 months old.
Okay.
Was adopted, and I mean, I had an okay childhood. Lots of trauma, though. Molested at a young age. So that also, I mean, unfortunately to say, 1 out of 2 women are sexually abused at some time in their lifetime. So unfortunately, it's very, very, very common. Even for boys, it's 1 out of 4 boys are sexually abused at some point in their life. So this is unfortunately the norm for all of us, and which is why I teach trauma work, to be able to grow through these things. Because when you're that age, it's like when you get your innocence taken from you, it's like that's how you receive love. So now you're programmed in a toxic way to receive and give love, you know, which is what's wrong with like 90% of us as adults. Like we don't know how to handle certain things because of the way we were programmed. So I went through a ton of drama. My brother got sick when I was very young and had to have a kidney transplant. So my mom actually gave him her kidney. Lots of drama in my family at that time. It was just up, downs. They actually sent me away to boarding school, a boot camp. And I'm glad there's a new show that came out on Netflix called The Program. And I would advise everybody to watch that. But it talks about how these programs back in the day used to have these random people come and get you out of your bed in the middle of the night and put you on planes and drop you off at these different camps and these different boarding schools. And unfortunately, I went through that. Super crazy. These people came and got me out of my sleep in the middle of the night, 14 years old, took me to an airport, put me on a plane and dropped me off in the middle of the freaking woods. And I spent the next 60 days there. Yes. What? Boot camp. No, it was super crazy. Watch The Program on Netflix.
Watch it.
It explains it. It's terrible. So I'm saying this to say that it kept reoccurring in my life. Abandonment, abuse, trauma. So of course, you know, I was digging into alcohol and drugs at a very young age. And I just got wrapped into all the bad things and around the bad people. I mean, I tried to model, and I started modeling actually when I turned, I was 17, and I started getting bigger gigs. So I moved out to LA and fell in with the wrong crowd, started hustling. You know, throughout my younger years, I was in the streets heavy hustling, right? I had to make money. I had to make a living. And unfortunately, I got caught up in my early 20s and I did some time. And that really changed my life because as soon as I got out of jail, I got pregnant. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I got to do the right thing or else my baby's going to go to foster care. So from that day on, I realized I couldn't break the law anymore. That's when I kind of shifted just the way that I was. I got away from the crowd that I was in. You know, I kind of learned my lesson going to jail.
Good.
And really tried to turn my life around and ended up going to culinary school, getting my degree for culinary arts. Yeah. And I was a pastry chef for a long time. I got bored of that, became a real estate agent and broke records doing that. I built a team of 30 agents. So that was fun. And that's where I really found my love for entrepreneurship. So I dove into everything entrepreneur. I actually became the president of this mental health facility. And that's where I dove into my biohacking stuff and started really diving into healing work and helping people. And through that job, I found Billy. And yeah, that's when I joined Forbidden Knowledge. And here I am
up from here.
Yes, yes.
So tell us about your journey of being an entrepreneur. Where did that start?
So basically when I was a real estate agent, I realized that I had a talent on really just gathering people together in groups and just getting people excited about a new mission, right? So I got that team of 30 together and I realized I really liked doing that more so than I did closing my own deals. Right. And I was like, I really like this business aspect of things. So I helped my friend who had an insurance company, doing different things. I helped him build his business. So I grew his business like 274% within the first year.
Wow.
And I was like, this is dope.
Wow.
And so my friend at the time who owned the mental health facility was like, hey, come over here. So I ended up helping them build really big. They actually became a state or countrywide brands, really, really super popular. And so that's when I kind of started really feeling the love and excitement for business and that I could do it. Cause I could kind of see where businesses were lacking and offer my thoughts and roadmap to basically get to their goal.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So tell me all of the things that you are passionate about right now. Let's talk about all of those things.
So it would obviously be mental health and trauma work because I feel like, you know, a lot of women, especially young women, I mean, just like me, I felt hopeless when I was younger. Like I had all this abuse. I want to drink my life away. I hate everything. You know, we're so emotional at that age. Yep. So it's really giving girls and women hope that you can grow out of these things and really create your best life and live your best life every single day. So that's my number one initiative, I would say, is helping young women to realize that they have the power within them to create anything that they want to do, even if they've been through horrible things. Nice. You can grow and heal from that. So that's probably my number one mission and goal right now. Otherwise, I mean, I love biohacking and everything biohacking because those are the things that help me to become who I am today, right? Everyone was like, oh, stop being depressed, stop being so sad, and, you know, just stop. And I'm like, don't you think I would if I could? Sometimes sometimes you just need the help from something to help you bring you out of these negative thought patterns, right? To help bring you out of these hopeless places where you feel like you can't go on, right? You need help.
You do. So, you do. And you're helping right now while you're on this podcast.
That's right.
Someone so beautiful, so successful can definitely come from a not so flowery, pretty background. And sometimes we only put out what we want people to see, which I think that there's nothing really wrong with that. But it comes a time when you want to have like these deep conversations with key people. And this right here, I'm sure is helping a lot of femmes right now because a lot of people get stuck with their traumas. And it's like, you know, you can't just cry every day. You can't just dwell on it every day. And I heard you listening to your, I think it was a reel that you were posting. I heard you saying, like, if you stay stuck in the past, you're depressed. Like, it'll keep you depressed. And really, our time is all we have right now.
Right now. It's the present moment.
Exactly.
It's the present moment. So we can't waste beautiful present moment on these thoughts, right? And that's our thoughts that create reality. And it was so crazy. I was sitting outside yesterday on my porch and I'm looking at this beautiful lake with these palm trees and these birds just chirping. I'm like, we do live in a golden age. You know, I hear Billy all the time talking about, and I talk about it too, how we're getting to a golden age. But if we could just realize that right now is the golden age.
Yeah.
I was sitting outside in the golden age because what outside your reality in this present moment is real? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. What is happening across the world in a different place, and unfortunately, it could be so bad, right?
Yeah.
Wars and all this horrible stuff. But is that your reality right now? It's not.
It's not.
It's not. So live in your reality, because no amount of stress or bad moods or feeling so guilty and depressed about the world is going to make anything better.
Absolutely.
But what makes things better? By you feeling good, by you spreading good energy. How do you do that? You get present and you start being appreciative and grateful for all your surroundings and being happy, right? Show by example. Mm-hmm. It's like, we want to feel so bad for all these people that are going through all this stuff. Yes, I understand. But at the same time, that's not going to help the situation.
It's not your reality.
Yes.
It's just not. So tell us about the books.
Okay, yeah.
Tell us. I know, I'm going. Tell us about the book.
Yes, so the Recipe to Elevated Consciousness is by far my passion project. It was an interview between me and Regina Meredith, the first half of it, of my life story, because I really wanted to be transparent in that I don't sugarcoat things. Like, what has happened to me? Jail, drugs, alcohol, parties. These are not things that I'm necessarily proud of, but it's like, it's reality. So it is what it is. At this point, like, it happened. It made me who I am today. So I'm not fearful to talk about all of, the bad, as long as I'm talking, it has polarity, right? This is a dualistic world. So, I really wanted to show people all of the different situations I've ever been in so they can understand that I didn't come from pretty flowers. This stuff was not just handed over on a golden platter given to me. Like, I've really manifested my best life because I have had to work my ass off to get here, right? So dive into the shadows, dive into the scary parts. So the first half of the book is the interview about my life story. And the second half of the book is 46 different ways to help elevate your consciousness through biohacking, meditation, energy work, thought processes. So it really shows you different ways on how to hack yourself to make yourself feel better. Because when you are held down and restricted by the chains of trauma, you're not going to reach optimal level in your life no matter how hard you try. Why? Because of your conditioning. Like I said earlier, 95% of your thought patterns are subconscious. So if your programming is all jacked up from trauma that you went through and you are still being held by those chains, then 95% of your thoughts that are going out are going to be toxic.
Right.
So you have to learn to break free from those chains so you can live in the present moment and come to the present moment with no judgment.
Nice.
Right? With no bodily judgment. I can talk about the stuff that I've been through in my past that hurts because I don't have an emotional charge there anymore because I've dealt with it. I've processed it and I've released it. And that's what is good about trauma work and trigger work, because you can then have a trigger, but it won't feel so emotionally strong within your body. You won't have to react. You can have that space between stimulus and response. So you can have a conscious action within that space instead of reacting, which is what people do when they have never addressed their trauma.
I love that. So tell them where they can get the book, because I know films are going to be interested. We need to know where they can get that book.
So they can get the book on forbiddenknowledge.com or Amazon, The Recipe to Elevated Consciousness. I'm excited because I'm going to be rewriting the first half in all of my tone. So I'm going to take out the interview and just share my story written from me, and then put it back out as a special release because I wanted to make it all mine instead of having other energy on it. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Plus some other Earth Effect. They can find it on Amazon.
Okay.
Volume 1 and Volume 2 should be out within the next 3 months. Super excited. We're going to keep on going with these beautiful stories about people that have healed themselves through grounding.
Nice.
Yes. Keep spreading that good word. And I'm working on a third book right now.
Okay.
It's going to be about adoption because my life, I walked through my life, just empty and not knowing what was wrong with me. And if I would have come to the conclusion that adoption played a big role in the trauma that I've been through, then I could have probably healed myself a long time ago. So I want adoptees to have that information that they can understand and know more about themselves.
Got you. I want to ask you about that. Do you think adoption is like a good practice?
Okay, that's a double-edged sword because yes, I do think that it is good because, like, for instance, my mother, I think she was 13 when she had me. And so, she had no resources, and if I would have grew up with her, it would have just been all bad, right? In Korea, they would have done horrible things to me. So in my specific situation, it was probably a benefit that I was adopted.
Right.
But at the same time, there's no education behind it. You lose your culture, right? Adoptees,
Right.
you don't know who you are.
Right.
Like, I've always been so confused as to who or what I am or who I should hang out with, because the white people didn't accept me. I look different. You know, black people are really the only people that accepted me growing up. I wasn't accepted by Asian people because I wasn't Asian enough. So it's like, you're always being rejected by these different groups, and you never really know how to grasp onto who you are because you don't know who you are. So you're not taught about culture, and you look different than your parents. So it's like, why do I look so different? You always feel like you're just secluded on your own. And so, I mean, I think it's a good practice, but there needs to be education behind it.
Gotcha.
Especially the first moments of birth. Like, for me, back in the day, they didn't understand how important it is skin-to-skin contact with your baby.
Yeah.
They need to have that, right? Yeah. Instead of having a baby, you cut the cord and the baby's being brought over there and getting the goose, sucked out of their eyes and, all this traumatic stuff. The first thing that baby should go through as soon as they enter this world is getting placed on the mama's chest. Just embraced.
I agree.
It's so important, but we don't know these things. We're not taught these things. So, I mean, it's more awareness. I wouldn't say adoption is a bad thing, but I do believe that there needs to be a lot more education that goes into knowing your culture. You have to learn your culture. Your parents have to be willing to teach you your culture so you can have something to align with, right? Instead of walking around here all confused, like, who am I?
That might be something that you gotta
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
repertoire.
Yeah, I know. I'm just adding stuff on like you don't got enough on your plate.
No, it's good though. No, it's good. I mean, it's necessary.
Yeah, I think so. And
It's
just to hear you talk about it, I don't think I ever really thought about adoption and the risk and the benefits behind it. Like, you just kind of think about like an orphan, but orphans really do have like misplacement.
Yeah.
Like, they really do. Yeah. And I just never really thought about it until now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
People don't put it two and two together. They really don't.
They don't, because you're snatched out of maybe a bad situation, but then you're put into not the best situation too. Right. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, what do you do?
I can understand that. Let's go into manifesting.
Yes.
I want to talk about manifesting.
Okay.
Because you do it so well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So what I would say about manifesting is that we are all like energetic streams to the divine, right? I really feel like we're different radio channels, right? Different frequencies that are all connected with divine. So when we're manifesting, because we're manifesting nonstop, we manifest the good, the bad, the ugly, the awesome in our lives. Mm-hmm. So if your life is not a manifestation of what you want it to be, then I think that your stream has a little bit of static. And I call that trauma work, shadow work. So when you are able to create the stream and get rid of the static, you're able to manifest what you truly desire in the world.
Gotcha.
But that's by fixing your negative thought patterns. That's by digging into your shadows. I mean, literally, if I think of something negative, it will come true almost immediately, because my stream is so on point, because I've done so much work on myself that I'm manifesting left and right, and it's coming so quick.
Right.
Like Billy and I, especially, we have to really watch what we think about, because it will come like that. Mm-hmm. It was so interesting. This one day we were talking about how a bird had hit the windshield, and we were just talking about birds hitting the windshield. Uh-huh. And 20 minutes later, our driver called us and was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but a bird just hit the windshield." Right. Came out the blue and hit one of the cars. Right. I'm like, wow. So no matter what, your manifestations will come. Right. It's just a matter of, have you done the shadow work to clear out your stream so you have no static, right? You have a very solid, clear stream to the divine by doing shadow work. And are you working towards your manifestations? Like, what do you see?
That's the part that people,
they don't. Yeah, they're
that's confused. The part. Yeah, it's like you're not gonna manifest a car. The car is not gonna pull up in the front of your house. Like,
you have to do the action.
Yeah,
you have to put in
action.
Some sort of action. I mean, The Secret was great back in the day when it came out, but it didn't teach you that on top of the thoughts, you also have to put action behind your thoughts to make the manifestation come into fruition. And a lot of people be driving out here blindly. Like, they don't know what they want to manifest. Yeah. That's like going on a road trip and you don't know where you're going to end up. You're just driving out here blind. So you have to always start with the end in mind and work backwards from there. Absolutely. So I always do a year-long goal, a 5-year-long goal, a 10-year-long goal. goal. And I work backwards. What are the action steps that I got to take to hit these goals?
Right.
And then I just drive towards the goal, drive towards the end point. I mean, it's really as simple as that. It's just, you know, you have to stay focused and you have to have intentional thought and action behind what you're trying to manifest. It won't just show up. And then you have to have emotion about it. A good way to manifest is really get into a deep meditation and be there, right? Actually have it. Act like that manifestation is real. I mean, that Bentley out there, I manifested that car. I've been manifesting that car since I was 25 years old. You know? And why? How? Because every time I would meditate, I would be in that car. I would be feeling the leather on the steering wheel, the plastic of the Bentley logo right here, like sitting and feeling the pinstripe seats. I mean, sticking my head out the window and letting my hair go through the winds, like all of these things, the new car smell. Right. I felt all of these things like they were actually already here. So when I got that car, it was like, oh, you know, I knew I was going to have it anyway.
I knew I was going to get it.
Yeah, it's pretty much because I felt it. I've been here before. I mean, there is no time. You know, time is just an aspect of the third dimension, but there's different timelines happening all the time. So you can jump timelines and create different lives for yourself at any time, in any moment. I mean, it's really a magical place.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your event that's coming up in August.
Yes, the Conscious Awards.
Let's dive deep into that.
Yes, so last year we had the first annual Forbidden Conscious Awards. It was so successful. We had over 1,200 people in the building from all over the world. It was a beautiful night honoring people that are actually making a difference in the world, which is what I love about our event, is that some of the people that get overlooked, authors, you know, people that are out here really trying to make a difference, a positive difference in the world, they get overlooked a lot of the time. So we wanted to give people flowers while they were still here. So that was the whole intention behind the event. So this year we're actually having a Conscious Award weekend. Okay. We're doing a celebrity basketball game on Friday that's going to help underprivileged kids. Saturday we're doing a conference which Robert Grant, Mohammed Ibrahim, Billy Carson, Merkaba 13. Okay. And I'll be hosting a women's panel with Kika Wise, Ashley Joy Boyd, Olivia Smith, and Courtney Kane Sides. So we'll be doing a women empowerment panel. Nice. And then that evening we'll be doing a VIP sunset yacht cruise, which has all the nominees, celebrity guests. The Forbidden family will all be on the boat. Nice. Partying, dancing. There's going to be a buffet. That's going to be super fun. That's hosted by 19 Keys. Nice. And then Sunday, August 4th, we have a book signing in the morning that is by Forbidden Knowledge Inc. Publishing. Okay. So we'll have all of our authors there signing books. And then we have the red carpet right before the award show, 3 to 5. And then from 5:30 to 9:30 is the award show. So
nice. It's gonna be so tell the films if they want to attend, where they can get like tickets.
Yes. So forbiddenknowledge.com. Go to upcoming events and the Conscious Awards and the top tab, and you can look at getting tickets for all of the different events that we're having. And on the Adrian Arts Center website will be the Forbidden Conscious Award actual tickets on their website.
Nice. Yes. Well, Elisabeth, you have gave us a plethora of information. I'm so happy that you were able to come.
Yes, thank you
so much for sharing openly, transparently. Yes. This was a great podcast, interview style. Awesome. I love when I can just have someone I can just listen to them spray and talk. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes, I did.
I gotta have you to come back. This is great.
Know, absolutely. Been awesome.
Nice. Well, Femmes, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Femininity by Rachel V. Like I said, we are here to help you grow. If you have enjoyed this content, if you have enjoyed Elisabeth's content, please make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to link all of her information below, her books, her Instagram, her events, everything. If you want to connect with her, I will have all of the information there for you to see and grab. So, Elisabeth, thank you. You want to say anything to the Femmes?
Just thank you for having me. And yeah, women, we are the baddest of the bad.
So. Yes, we are. Yes, we really are. Yes. Until the next time, Femmes. Peace. Give them a kiss.